So Marvel Rivals just released the character teaser for Emma Frost. It's super cool. We're gonna go through it and we're gonna see what kind of abilities we can extract from it and see what she actually does. Keep in mind some of these might be incorrect guesses, but I'm gonna use the video and I'm gonna try and figure it out. Okay, so starting it off, we have her primary fire, which looks like it's a short-ish range beam. It doesn't really look auto-aimy, but it does look like a cloak primary. It's not the same lock-on that Scarlet Witch has, but it's definitely a beam. Another thing to note would be the fact that there is a meter building up as she damages people, so I'm not exactly sure what that's going to lead to, but I'm sure it's important. Also, it looks like she has a pretty quick reload. Okay, so moving on to the next part, this is where things get interesting. So this guy has a little bit going on. So at first I thought this was just like a crystal she can summon, but when I looked a little bit closer, I noticed that she's actually pulling the crystal out of Groot. So I'm assuming this is gonna work kind of like a soul from Doctor Strange's ultimate, where if you damage it, it also applies the damage to the person that it belongs to. So in this case, she pulls it out of Groot, right? But there's also a health bar on the crystal, so I assume any of the damage that the crystal takes goes to Groot, but there is also a limit on how much anyone can deal to it. I don't know if other teammates are going to be able to hit it, or if it's just going to be a her thing, but I guess we'll have to see. Another thing I wanted to note with the crystal was that there is a little bit of a tether. It's super hard to see, but there's like a light red tether going from the crystal to Groot. So I don't know if leaving a certain range will disconnect that tether and then kind of save you from taking damage from the crystal, right? Because I mean, trying to think of counterplay wise, if you get your soul taken out by Emma, then how exactly are you going to prevent dying if the crystal has more health than you, right? But I guess that's one of the reasons to use the crystal. Okay, so this next one I feel like is probably the easiest one to explain. So she throws this diamond forward, which is clearly a shield. It's got 500 health. It can block probably a lot of projectiles. I'm going to assume there's still some things that can go through it, like maybe melees if they put it on ground level. For anyone who's played Overwatch, it looks like it's gonna work a lot like a Sigma shield, where you send it forward, it can float in the air, you keep it there, it has health, it regens that health when it's on cooldown. Like, you know, you can see in the bottom right, the abilities down there, that it does have a cooldown. As you can see from the little button above the ability, you can also cancel it at any time. It's gonna be kind of like an Invisible Woman shield, but it's gonna be more mobile, it's gonna have more health, which, you know, is fitting for a tank, but I think this is about it for this one. Okay, so now onto the second part of our kit, and the reason I say second part is because, believe it or not, she gets access to a whole new set of moves here, as you can see from the ability icons changing. So basically, Emma's gonna encase herself in diamond. Presumably, she's gonna become impervious to a lot of types of damage, likely stuns and other things like that. I'm not 100% sure. The reason I'm making this guess is because her health bar turns yellow, and whenever your health bar turns yellow, it means that you're immune to stuns and whatnot. Before we move into the abilities, one important thing to note is that it looks like her primary fire turns into melees. It's no longer range attacks, so I guess that's important to keep in mind. Speaking of melees, her first ability in this new form allows her to command grab somebody, and it looks brutal, but I love it. So basically, she's gonna grab them, slam them to the ground. On top of that, you get your second ability, which looks to be a kick. So there's the initial damage from the kick, and then on top of that, it looks like there's impact damage when somebody hits a wall, so you want to kick them into surfaces. Something to note about the grab as well, as demonstrated here, you can grab somebody and then yank your camera around and combo that together with your other abilities. I can definitely see this grab interrupting a lot of ultimates and a lot of important moves, which is going to play into her role as a vanguard. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for. What does her ultimate do? So I have great news. It looks super awesome. The visuals are really fun looking, and the effects of the ultimate look like they're gonna be really impactful in a team fight, which is exactly what you want from a Vanguard, especially if you usually only have one on your team, since not too many people pick Vanguard all the time. That might be changing with this character though. So up front, it just looks like the ultimate does damage over time in a cone, but there's a lot more at work here than you think. For example, look right above the heads of the enemies who are being hit by this move. There's a little diamond that's filling up, and then eventually it turns blue. You might also notice that the enemies have been walking off the cliff for some reason. So here's my theory. Anyone who's caught in this ultimate is going to have this diamond slowly fill up, and when the diamond's full, we'll call it charmed, right? Anyone who is charmed is basically going to be forced to look at Emma Frost. It does look like they also start walking and maybe they can't attack. Maybe it is legitimately like a taunt of some form. At this point, it could either be forcing the camera to stare at Emma Frost, or making the camera slowly drift towards Emma Frost, or it could be a straight up taunt that prevents attacks, prevents control, and just makes them walk towards her, which would make sense for her mind control theming. It sounds super strong on paper, but it does also sound fun. I think it's really going to depend on how fast her ult charges, and I think this is going to be a really powerful ultimate, especially for doing team-based combos, like getting people in one area, since they're all going to be following you, or they're all going to be forcibly having to look at you as Emma. It's also technically a form of peel, since they won't be able to attack anyone they might have been attacking. Also, can you imagine winning overtime because you got everybody to walk off the point towards you? That sounds amazing. Anyways, that's really it. I don't really have anything else to say. I hope you guys enjoy her when she comes out. I'm definitely going to be playing her. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my socials below, and that's it.